business was I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was studying business in college and never done a school play or anything.
In 1987, Tom Selleck got married under a fake name. The minister didn't even know who he was. They forgot the marriage license and had to race to fix it before dinner. But that secret wedding was just the start. A water theft scandal, a helicopter death on set, and a son who spiraled into addiction. By 2025, Tom admitted on live TV he might lose everything. This is the story of a man who had it all and watched it crumble. Tom Selleck was born on January 29, 1945, in Detroit. His mother, Martha, stayed home to take care of the family, and his father, Robert, worked as a real estate investor. During that time, Robert was also serving in the Army, working on B-29 bombers during World War II. Tom was the second child. His older brother, Bob, had arrived a year earlier in 1944, and later two more siblings followed, Martha and Daniel. They lived in Detroit back then, a city filled with factories and noise. But Tom's early childhood would soon change completely. In 1948, when Tom was just 3 years old, his father made a big decision. He left Detroit and moved the whole family to California. He had taken a commission-only job with Coldwell Banker in Los Angeles. That meant no salary, no guaranteed paycheck, a huge risk. They settled in Sherman Oaks, a place that was still mostly farmland at the time. Robert believed California held more opportunity, and that gamble later paid off. By 1960, he was making $70,000 a year in commissions, close to what the president earned. But for Tom, growing up in California wasn't easy. He started to grow taller than everyone else, eventually reaching 6 feet 4 inches. Even as a kid, he stood out in every classroom. He felt awkward and different, and it made school tough at times, but slowly he began turning that height into something good. He joined the basketball team at Grant High School and became a standout player. He also played baseball. His body, coordination, and focus helped him rise. But life wasn't simple. When Tom was 17, something happened that could have ended everything. He was riding in a car with two friends traveling down the dangerous curves of Mulholland Drive. The car lost control, went airborne, and crashed. It was his mother's red Chevy Golf. The accident was so bad it became the opening story in his 2024 memoir, You Never Know. They survived, but it changed Tom forever. It made him more careful, more thoughtful. He never forgot how close he came to dying. Even though Robert eventually became successful, the early years in California were hard. The family struggled with money. So Tom worked. During high school, he got a part-time job at a clothing store and kept working there even after he started acting classes. He also chose Valley Junior College because it let him live at home and save money. Even after he joined 20th Century Fox's acting program and then lost that opportunity, he went right back to the store. Work was never beneath him. He did what he had to do. He had always dreamed of attending USC, but they didn't give him a scholarship at first. He turned down a full basketball ride to Montana State just because he wanted USC so badly. So, he worked, saved, and attended Valley College first. In 1965, he finally made it into USC. He played for the basketball team, but only scored 4 points in 7 games. The next season, he scored 0 in 3 games. The team said he was quick but needed better defense. His sports dreams faded fast. While majoring in business, he found side jobs. Working for United Airlines as a campus rep, his Sigma Chi fraternity buddies pushed him into going on the dating game in 1965 and again in 1967. He lost both times. It was humiliating, but that embarrassment somehow opened a door. A casting agent saw him and gave him a chance to audition for a Pepsi commercial. He got the part. All he had to do was dunk a basketball on camera. He drank so much Pepsi during the shoot he got sick. But the $1,000 from that ad led directly to his offer from 20th Century Fox. Then the Vietnam War changed everything. In 1967, Tom got his draft notice. Instead of going to war, he joined the California National Guard's 160th Infantry. He served for 6 years, from 1967 to 1973. He rose to sergeant and later became a second lieutenant after training at the California Military Academy. At one point, he even responded to the Watts riots in Los Angeles. But the cost was steep. While he served, Fox dropped him. He kept his uniform in the trunk of his car, ready for deployment anytime, even during auditions. When he returned to acting, he trained at the Beverly Hills Playhouse under Milton Katselas. It was intense. Katselas was a rough teacher. Some said it felt more like a cult than a classroom. The students had to stand and clap whenever he walked in. He shouted, pressured, and told actors to pull their own hair out to feel rage. Some called him abusive, others brilliant. But Tom stuck with it. He endured everything. Even though he never joined Scientology, many said Katselas was using the class to recruit. To make money during college, Tom modeled for Salem cigarettes. His tall build and clean looks were perfect for ads. Those cigarette commercials paid more than his United Airlines gig. But later, when he became famous with Magnum PI, those old ads came back to haunt him. Reporters asked why he had promoted smoking. He hated those questions and didn't want to be remembered as a guy who sold cigarettes to teens. He quietly tried to distance himself from it. Between 1965 and 1967, the dating game haunted him. Losing twice on national TV made him question everything. He told AARP it was the most embarrassing thing he'd ever done. His looks didn't help him. His charm didn't work. He started feeling like he didn't belong on screen. The second loss hurt more than the first. That memory stayed with him for years. In 1969, he got a role in Judd for the Defense. It was a big break. Then something ridiculous happened. He was fired from another show just because he was too tall. At 6 feet 4 inches, he made the other actors look tiny. Directors didn't know how to shoot scenes with him. One agent even told him his height was a problem. Imagine being fired for how tall you are. It was crushing. For years, he had to accept bit parts just to stay in the game. From 1974 to 1979, he appeared in 6 episodes of The Rockford Files. He played Lance White, a detective. It should have helped his career. But behind the scenes, he clashed with the star, James Garner. Tom wanted his character to feel real. Garner wanted Lance to be silly, more of a joke. They argued about lines, tone, direction. The tension was obvious. Some scenes were rewritten on set. The crew could feel the divide. The fights made the work feel heavy. In 1972, he took a role in a cheap horror movie called Daughters of Satan. It was shot in the Philippines. The set was unsafe. There was a fire scene where the special effects failed. Real flames came too close. Tom got minor burns. His hair was singed. The crew couldn't even communicate properly. There was a language barrier, but they had to finish the movie. No one talked about what really happened. The studio covered it up. Tom was scared but had no choice but to keep going. In 1976, Charlie's Angels gave him a brief shot. He played a boyfriend character, but after just 1 episode, he was fired. Leonard Goldberg said Tom's height made the Angels look too small. They said there was no chemistry. The show went on to become a hit. Tom, meanwhile, returned to doing commercials. He was so broke he only had 1 suit and wore it to every audition. Robert Saline, the director of a soap commercial, said Tom wore that same suit on and off camera. Tom Selleck almost walked away from the role that made him a star. When he first read the original script for Magnum PI, he hated it. It wasn't the smart, funny character we remember today. The first draft made Magnum a cartoon version of James Bond. He had a house on seaside cliffs, a vicious dog, and even a hang glider with machine guns. Selleck looked at the producers and said, "I don't want to play what I look like." He had done 6 failed pilots before. This one felt like his last shot. But he wasn't going to fake it. He told Donald Belisario, "I want a character with humor, not just action." Belisario listened. He rewrote the whole thing after filming had already started. The change delayed production and made CBS nervous, but it saved the show and Selleck's career. In 1984, while he was still married to Jacqueline Ray, Tom met a woman who changed everything. Her name was Gilly Mack, a British actress dancing in the West End version of Cats. Tom became obsessed with the show. He kept going back again and again. His co-star Jane Seymour thought it was strange. "I like Cats, but I didn't get why he went back 12 times, she said. At the time, tabloids went wild. Rumors of an affair swirled. People followed him, followed her, trying to prove something. Gilly didn't even know who Tom was. Her TV had been stolen 3 months earlier. She had never seen Magnum P.I., but after the shows, they'd have quiet dinners. In 1982, Tom divorced Jacqueline, but people never stopped asking if Jill had been part of the reason. That shadow followed them for years. Back in 1980, just before Magnum truly took off, Tom came painfully close to playing Indiana Jones. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas had chosen him. They loved his chemistry with Shaw Young in the audition. But there was a problem. Tom had already signed with CBS. He told Spielberg the truth. CBS didn't want to let him go. Bob Daly at CBS was firm. No movie. Then the irony hit. A Screen Actors Guild strike in 1980 paused Magnum filming for 6 months. That was the exact window he could have shot Raiders of the Lost Ark. Instead, Tom waited in Hawaii. Meanwhile, Harrison Ford took the role and became a global icon. Tom said later, "I didn't see myself as a victim, but I wasn't happy about it." That one decision may have cost him over $100 million. That same year, tragedy struck on set. A helicopter crash during filming took the life of 33-year-old camera operator Robert Van Der Kar. The pilot, Robert Sanders, survived but was badly injured. They had been filming a routine ocean scene off the coast of Oahu. When the chopper went down, Sanders dove again and again trying to save Van Der Kar. He never made it out. Tom was crushed. He demanded change and clashed with Universal Studios over safety. He asked for more coordinators, backup helicopters, and proper briefings. Studios said it cost too much. Tom said, "It's lives we're talking about." His stand eventually forced changes across the industry. By the time the show ended on May 1st, 1988, over 50 million people watched the final episode. But behind the scenes, it was a war. CBS wanted to cancel it early. They tried to kill Magnum in season 7. He was shot, slipped into a coma, and the last shot showed him walking toward the light. But fans were furious. CBS had to bring him back for season 8. It cost them millions. The budget had ballooned to $1.2 million per episode. They asked Tom to cut location shoots, ditch helicopters, and hire cheaper actors. He refused. He said it would ruin the show. It became a constant fight. Tom didn't just act in Magnum. He protected it. In 1987, Tom starred in 3 Men and a Baby. It made $167 million. But something strange happened. In one scene, people noticed a figure behind the curtains, a boy standing still. Rumors started that the apartment was haunted. Some said a boy had died there. The legend grew. Years later, Tom explained it on The Tonight Show. It was a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson left over from a deleted scene. The movie was filmed on a soundstage in Toronto, not in a real apartment. Still, people loved the ghost story. Disney never corrected the rumor. Some said it helped sell more VHS tapes. In 1990, Tom filmed Quigley Down Under in the harsh Australian outback. It wasn't easy. He rode horses, did stunts, and dealt with tough conditions. He clashed with the heat, the terrain, and the way Aussie crews worked. Roger Ebert liked his performance, but the movie didn't do well. It struggled to make back its budget. Still, Tom said it was one of his proudest roles. When Batman came around in 1989, Tom was again on the list. So were Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, and even Charlie Sheen. Michael Keaton got it. Fans hated that choice at first. 50,000 protest letters flooded Warner Brothers, but the movie made $411 million. It changed superhero films forever. Tom turned it down because comic book movies weren't big back then, and he was still tied to Magnum. Later, he admitted he regretted it. In 1992, Mr. Baseball came out. Tom played a fading Yankees star sent to Japan. It was funny but also awkward. The movie showed culture clashes between American and Japanese baseball. Tom trained hard, and the movie became a teaching tool for real players heading to Japan. But the box office was weak. Critics said it felt messy. It was his first big miss after years of hits. Then came In and Out in 1997. Tom kissed Kevin Kline on screen for 12 full seconds. That one moment shocked his fans. He had been on the NRA board and had donated to conservative campaigns. People asked if the role clashed with his views. He said, "I make faces in front of a camera. That doesn't make me Solomon." He was an actor, and he played the part. The kiss stirred headlines, but it also opened doors for more LGBTQ+ roles in mainstream films. From 1995 to 2000, Tom showed up in 10 episodes of Friends as Monica's older boyfriend. On set, he had trouble with Chandler's sarcastic tone and kept asking Matthew Perry for help. When Perry tried to copy Tom's mustache, the audience lost it. Later, when Tom's character joked, "Nice mustache. When puberty hits, it'll kick in," the cast burst out laughing. In 1998, Tom tried a big TV comeback with A Closer. It failed. Only 10 episodes aired. The ratings were bad. Critics didn't love it. Tom was crushed. He took a full year off, retreating to his 63-acre ranch. He said it taught him about failure and resilience. Then came Jesse Stone. From 2005 to 2015, he starred in 9 TV films based on Robert B. Parker's novels. He even started co-writing the later ones. They were popular with older audiences and beat network shows in ratings, but a plagiarism claim hit hard. Another writer said Tom copied his ideas. A secret settlement was made. No one talked about it publicly. The movies kept going until 2015. In 2006, Tom appeared on Boston Legal. It should have been simple, but his real-life NRA role clashed with the show's liberal cast. The scripts poked at gun control. Tensions rose. Cast members challenged his views during table reads. Tom later said it was part of why he stepped down from the NRA board in 2018. His 2004 role in Ike, Countdown to D-Day, was praised. He shot it in New Zealand. The days were long, 18 hours each. The pressure was high, and it nearly ruined his marriage to Jill Mack. He said the filming drained him emotionally and physically. Playing Eisenhower wasn't just a role. It bled into his real life. From 2010 to 2024, Tom played Frank Reagan in Blue Bloods. He was the highest-paid actor, earning $200,000 per episode. But in 2023, CBS asked the cast to take a 25% pay cut to save the show. Tom agreed. He lost $1.2 million. Still, the show was canceled. He said he was frustrated. He begged CBS to reconsider. The finale aired on December 13, 2024. He read a poem. Cast and crew cried, but CBS didn't budge. In 2015, Tom injured his knee during a stunt. It led to years of pain. By 2025, he had both knees replaced. Photos showed long scars. He struggled to walk, needed a truck for support. He couldn't do simple scenes without help, but he kept going. The family dinner scenes on Blue Bloods were his idea. He wanted them to feel real, like his own family. But behind the scenes, he fought with writers. He said some storylines were too woke. Cast members had tricks to avoid eating. Vanessa Ray once ate 17 rolls before learning. Tom just buttered his. When COVID hit in 2020, filming stopped. Tom stayed on his ranch. He was 75. He started feeling the weight of everything. Pain, age, fear. In his 2024 memoir, You Never Know, he admitted he was depressed. The arthritis was getting worse. He needed help walking. Each shoot became a struggle, but he showed up. Tom Selleck got married in 1971 to Jacqueline Ray, a model who stood by him when nobody knew his name. She supported him through his hardest years when acting jobs were rare and money was tight. For more than 10 years, she believed in him. But when he became famous in the early 1980s through Magnum P.I., something changed. Fame hit fast, and so did temptations. While filming in Hawaii, Jacqueline started seeing him on TV surrounded by local women. That was when it hit her. The man she loved and supported through everything was slipping away. Friends said he fell in love with the island life and the attention. She felt betrayed. After all the sacrifices she made, the 1982 divorce gave her just 3 years of support, a car, and a house. That was it. Just 5 years later, in 1987, Tom married again, this time in secret. He had been obsessed with a 25-year-old British dancer named Gilly Mack since 1983, watching her in Cats over and over again. When they finally tied the knot at Lake Tahoe on August 7, 1987, they used fake names. Tom became Tom Jenkins, and Gilly used Susie Mark. Even the minister was tricked until the last minute. They forgot the marriage license and had to send someone racing to Reno to fix it before dinner. Only family was there. No media, just Polaroid cameras to keep things private. But even with the secrecy, the marriage faced struggles. Tom's workaholic ways almost ruined it in the beginning. They even needed counseling. In 1988, their daughter Hannah was born. She came into the world on Tom's 63-acre avocado ranch in Ventura County. At first, it seemed like a dream life. But later, Tom admitted that the ranch's isolation made things harder. He had stepped away from Magnum PI because he felt like a ghost in his own home. He said he wanted a real life, not just a career. Still, filming kept him away, and Hannah spent many of her early years alone, surrounded by animals instead of friends. 13 dogs, cattle, sheep, rabbits, horses. It was a quiet life and sometimes a lonely one. Horses became her escape, and without her parents' support, she said the ranch life could have drowned her. Tom also adopted Jacqueline's son, Kevin, in 1987 when Kevin was 21. But Kevin's life wasn't easy either. At just 15, his mother thought about sending him away to boarding school. He started drinking heavily in his 20s. Tom had to get him into rehab at the Betty Ford Center. Even after that, Kevin struggled. In 2011, he was sued over $6,000 in credit card debt. And despite Tom's fame and money, Kevin couldn't seem to find his way. Friends said Tom tried everything: money, advice, freedom, but nothing worked. The stress hit the whole family. Kevin eventually married and had 6 kids, and sources say he recovered, but the pain lingered. Back in 1988, Tom had bought that same 63-acre ranch from Dean Martin for $5 million. But the peace didn't last. In 2015, the Water District sued him for allegedly stealing 1.4 million gallons of water. California was going through one of the worst droughts in its history with a 36% mandatory cutback in his area. Investigators said Tom sent a tanker truck 12 times to fill water from a public hydrant 8 miles away. It cost the district $21,685 just to prove it. That's exactly what Tom ended up paying to settle the case and stop taking water. But that wasn't the ranch's only trouble. By 2023, nearly all his 2,500 avocado trees were destroyed by brutal droughts. Even 25 oak trees that had been there for more than 100 years died. Tom, now 79, said it broke his heart. He admitted in 2012 that making money from avocados had always been tough. He once joked, "I don't even like them. Why eat them when I can sell them?" But by 2023, the business had completely collapsed. Then came 2024. Blue Bloods, his longest-running show, was canceled. Tom had been earning $200,000 per episode, about $4.8 million per season. But despite that, he said on CBS that he wasn't sure if he could afford the ranch without working. "Am I set for life? Yeah, but maybe not on a 63-acre ranch," he said. The ranch was now worth $12 million, but he had taken out $15 to $16 million in loans back in the 2000s. Nobody knew how much was left to pay. Tom even offered CBS to cut salaries by 25% just to keep the show alive. He said, "We're the third highest scripted show. We're winning the night." But it didn't work. By 2025, Tom's health started to collapse. At 80, he was barely recognizable. His friends said he looked smashed, disheveled, with a gut that hung over. He had once flown across his land on an ATV, checking wildflowers and doing hands-on work. But now he could barely move. He had arthritis and had undergone bilateral knee surgery in 2024 with visible scars down both legs. The medications, especially prednisone, made him hungry all the time, and depression made it worse. He started eating fast food in secret, hiding bags of chips and burgers. His friends feared he was eating himself to death. At 6 feet 4 inches, he was now close to 350 pounds. Doctors warned he might already be insulin resistant. With his age, obesity, and medications, he was at high risk of heart attack, stroke, or worse. His wife, Jilly, stayed by him, but even she was worn down. He didn't want to quit. He said retirement scared him, but experts said he might not have a choice. His body couldn't handle acting anymore. Still, he kept holding on. In May 2024, he released his memoir, You Never Know, co-written with Ellis Hennigan. It became a bestseller overnight. For 320 pages, he told everything. Childhood stories, Mae West parties, roles he turned down, how fame changed him, what he regretted, what he didn't. It was his most open moment. CBS tried to carry the legacy forward with a Blue Blood spin-off in 2025 called Boston Blue, focused on Donnie Wahlberg. Tom wanted to be part of it. He begged. He pushed. But insiders said his health might stop him. He needed help just to walk. His team said nothing. Wahlberg said maybe there'd be cameos since New York and Boston were close. But everyone knew it would be hard. By 2026, people around Tom believed he might finally step away. He didn't want to, but his body was shutting down. His mind needed work. His soul needed purpose. But his knees, his heart, his weight, they were all screaming for rest. That ranch, which once gave him peace, now felt like a burden. He feared losing it. I need to keep working enough to hold on to the place, he said. But time was moving fast. Friends said he might soon disappear into that ranch. Far from Hollywood. Far from cameras. Just Tom, his wife, and memories stretching across 63 acres of silence.